Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. This is part 6. When I started this, I had no clue I was going to make this many. I'm going to, I'm going to start with the exact same size. I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. Because it's a 6-sided, it'll do that. I'm going to get a triangle about that size, so I'm going to start with a polygon tool, but 4-sided, and hit P. And then I'm going to turn it into 3-sided. So I'm not big enough. But I'm pretty sure if we take it, hold down the shift key and have it, it's a different shape than the original, because this is on the outside. You know what, if we do that, we're going to mess up. I'm going to call that good. My nudge factor is still set on 2. So Corel thinks the center is right there, and really the center is right there. So what we're going to do is take that one and contour to the inside, 0.04. Let's go too much. Let's go 0.03. That's going to give us that thick line. Now we're going to go and select everything, go to arrange and break the contour apart. We're going to take this one, make it duplicate, or hit the plus key on the keyboard, holding down your shift key. See, it just doesn't work. You can't do that. So let's take this and let's contour it. Let's go 0.5. Whoop, too large, 0.05. I'm just trying to get this space. What if we do 2 of them and then break the contour apart and get rid of that line? Whoop, I've still got to go and ungroup it. Get rid of that line. That is our space now. Now I want to take and contour this to the inside, 0.01. Let's try 0.01. And that's going to give us those lines. Really, they're not far enough apart. Let's go 0.02. Okay. Then you need to select everything with the pick tool and go up to arrange and break the 4 objects apart. I'm going to group this together, Control G. Now, I don't know that this is going to work. Control D and make a duplicate. Double click on the rotation and put it in the center of the page. And rotate it 180 degrees. I don't know if it's going to be where we want it. See, we're not exactly where we want it, but this will save you a lot of time. I'm going to set my nudge factor on 0.001 or 0.01, and I'm going to nudge this down. I'm just going to ballpark this. We could measure. Now this is a 6-sided star, so it'll hit P and put it in the center of the page. Now, before we draw this other stuff, we're going to look at this one, and we want all this clear all the way down to here. So I'm going to take this one and make it black this time. I've got them grouped together. Group, ungroup. Let's make this one black. And this time we're going to delete the black lines. And we're going to pre-do this before we put in our graphic. So we want to delete. I'm going to hold down the Alt button. That'll help me get a good slant. We're going to stop this line right there. So I'm going to hold down the Alt button. Hold down the Alt button. This will save a lot of time trying to get rid of that when we were having to delete that graphic in part 5. We won't have to delete that graphic because we're not going to draw that graphic until we get to this point. Now we need to do the same thing over here. And just remember that the thickest line is going to be filled in. And also, I don't know if he's engraving this or what. So now we have this. And I'm going to kind of do what he did as far as drawing. I'm going to group it together, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to make a copy. Always make it, you know what? I'm going to set my nudge factor on like 2 inches. and make a duplicate. In case you mess up, you got a copy. Now, I'm going to take this and rotate it 30 degrees. And what that did is it gave me a right up and down angle to draw this or draw something similar. And we could start, I'm going to start down at the bottom. And I'm going to kind of draw what he drew. And we just want to remember that we want to finish up about halfway through. I'm going to take an ellipse, not holding down the control button. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take 2 ellipses. Doesn't matter what size. Hit the plus key on your keyboard. Move that over. And I'm going to get that shape. Now, these are basically, were way too big. And I am going to left click, right click. And I'm going to kind of just size it in there in comparison. I'm still a little bit too big, but we're going to make this work. Make a whole different drawing. Hopefully it'll work. Now, we got about the right shape. I left the contour button open. I'm going to contour just one time. 0.001. Not enough. 0.01. 0.01. Okay, that's perfect. Now, break the contour apart. And we're also going to make them both black. Okay. We want it to, he's got 2 and then like a square. And no, I don't really have to do that. But while we're in the middle, I'm going to Control D or hit the plus key. And I'm going to move that up to about there. And I'm going to move this one down to, okay, I didn't grab it all. I could group those together. I want it about halfway. Okay. Now I'm just going to see how many it's going to take. So I'm going to select both those. I'm going to go to Effects and Blend. And I'm just going to blend them. It's not going to look, okay. I've got to group them together for the blend to work. And if you notice, I'm dragging off the page so I can not touch anything else. I'm just going to blend them 2 times. You know what? I'm going to put squares between each one of mine. He's got squares on the opposite ends. I'm going to call that again. Don't forget to go to Arrange and break the blend apart. Now I'm going to take a square. I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. I'm going to bring it in. And try to get it equally spaced. I should have left the blend docker open, because that would help us. Try to get it evenly spaced between the 2. And I'm going to do a little bit different because I'm going to make all this one unit. I'm going to change my nudge factor to 0.001. I'm going to grab that. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Now I'm going to take that one and contour the inside and make that square. But what I want to do now, I need to select it all, go up to Arrange, break the contour apart. I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, holding down the control button. Then I'm going to get it about the same spot. We need to go down a little bit. And I'm going to grab, you know what, I don't know if I broke the contour apart. I must have. Group them together. They need to be grouped together to get the blend to work. And now I'm going to grab that one and that one with the Shift key. This time, I should have left my blend docker open. I'm going to just blend one time. And it should put a square right there in the middle. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to take these. I got to break the blend apart. I'm going to take these and weld them. Now, well, that could possibly, let's try this before we go away with that. Let's contour the inside. There we go. That's pretty good. Now we're going to go and break the contour part. Now what we can do is, and I don't know about this size being the exact same thing, and I'm just kind of playing off the cuff here. I am going to take the Smart Fill tool. First of all, I'm going to set my nudge factor back on 2 inches. I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool. I'm going to just fill that in. There is our first side graphic. Now I can take, you know what, this is at a right angle. So let's try this. Control D to duplicate and move the rotation kind of like up in here. And it should be I think it's going to be like a negative or 60 degrees. Now we can do the exact same thing here. And we're going to nudge that up. We're almost done, folks. And for the one I'm doing this for, he's going to be irritated I didn't show this at first. Now we need to put some sort of star in that middle. So what I'm going to do now is group it together, Control G, and I'm going to rotate it a negative 30 to get it back. I think he's got a six-sided kind of a, six-sided star. So we're going to get our star tool, which is underneath your polygon, go ahead and make it 6. I'm using now he's gotten it flattened sides. You do that by making your angles differently. Quite a bit, matter of fact. And that really neither here nor there. But let's look at it up here and see by the time, because we rotated, it'll be right in the perfect spot. And I think that's good. I'm going to Smart Fill that. Now, that was one question I have. If he's going to engrave it, he needs to make these lines thicker than a hairline. So now what we're going to do is take our Smart Fill tool and fill that in. Now, I still need to cut some lines, I think. Tell you what, let me take away this more, because I don't want these lines going past, and then we're going to do exactly what we did before. I don't care about that line, because I'm going to delete, but I need these lines cut. Just here, here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, see it's all grouped together, go to range, group, and ungroup all. Let's nudge that line over, and that line over. Wouldn't you know it, I had a copy of something. Now we're going to have to, like in video 5, we're going to have to do these one at a time, because we can't. So I'm going to go up with one, down with no. And I'm just going to delete these lines. And once again, the indexing line is stopping it. Okay, and because since I didn't have an indexing line that time, it didn't stop. Now, before I move that over, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get our fill items. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and, now here's hold down the Alt key and select those and make them all black. And at this time, if you're going to make sure they're not a hairline, if you're going to engrave this. That's all we need to do, hopefully. Let's grab that. Let's group it together. Move it over to the center. Keep your fingers crossed. Control D to duplicate, alternate C to make this the center rotation of the center, and rotate it 60 degrees. I forgot to break some lines apart. Oh, I went too far. I went too far with these lines. So that's why I never delete anything. Tell you what, let's get our, we had a duplicate. Let's get our, break it apart. That's why I said some of you didn't keep your fingers crossed. I need to go up. I'm going to get everything out of the way. We got to get in close. I'm just nudging up. And then I can bring this star back. Well, I actually don't need that star. I need these. Well, those lines don't go through. I know I need to cut this one. Those lines don't go through it. Oh, they need to stop at the big star. They need to stop right here. My bad. Okay, see what's happening? We're cutting it off because I don't have, that line's not complete. So just make the line complete. Now we have it. Let's move that out of the way, that out of the way, that out of the way, I'm not moving them out of the way. I'm just, now we can bring our graphic back. Make sure you grab it all. Control G to group. Now for the ones that didn't keep their fingers crossed, you need to cross them this time. Control D, alternate C. That puts it, should put it in the center. Okay, did I not make a duplicate? No, I made a duplicate. Now I can move stuff out of the way. I didn't have it grouped. Control G, Control D, duplicate. Alternate C, put their center rotation in the center. Rotate it 60 degrees. There we go. And you have an interlocking mess of lines, but it looks like I'm hanging over a little bit, but I'm not. They're just points. That's pretty cool and pretty easy. So John, I apologize. I didn't think about that earlier. It would have saved you a lot of time in drawing, but you could start over and make your new one better. His lines are a little thicker and he's got a little curve to them. I think his are better. My hat's off to him for doing the design, but you could reduplicate that very easily in your new star. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody someday, and thank you for watching.